The United States Army has been a standing factor within this nation for hundreds of years. In these years, we've seen several world wars fought overseas, along with two major world wars, many in which we've had either loved ones or relatives take part in our nation. I myself come from an extensive family that would include relatives, and many in which would take part in wars for our nation. Dating back more recently, World War II, my great-grandfather was a part of it. He would be a part of the aerial unit and would later receive a Purple Heart for being a prisoner of war for several years in Japanese territory. I would then have a grandfather who would also serve in Vietnam and would also receive a Purple Heart for being amongst the only left in the squadron. For years and even decades, I've had family and be a part of our nation's effort in war, and so to this day, I have even more family enlisted in this nation's army. I'm not making this speech to really talk about my family, but almost in an opposite way. To many serving in the military, it's seen as a thing of pride for the people at home, but I can confidently speak for all my relatives when I say they regret serving this country because of how little this country did for them when they came back. Both. The same grandfather who had earned his Purple Heart in World War II would see his body physically and mentally break over the years as a direct result of his tenure in war. As for my grandfather who had served in Vietnam, he would show signs of PTSD, and still to this day it still bothers him. According to the USDA.gov, 1,300 new veterans and their families return from civilian life every single day, though that sounds as positive as it does on paper. 55% of veterans that come home refuse work even after being assessed for it. According to NCBIA.gov, and as many as 500,000 USA troops who served in Iraq and Afghanistan came back with PTSD. Regardless if a veteran chose to refuse help when they truly needed it, there needs to be more done for them regardless. This doesn't mean psych ward them as soon as they come back, but instead they deserve to be treated in a way that encourages this help. Without that very help, they end up having their lives ruined, and there's no doubting that. The ways in which we could better the veterans when they come back who had served in the past can be as simple as advertising therapy in a way that doesn't seem like giving up. As for all my relatives who have served in the war, not a single one of them had sought therapy, and the reason for that all comes down to the fact that it's offered in a way that seems pathetic or unremorseful. This nation could and needs to do so much more for the men and women who give their lives up every day. And it starts with actually caring for them and their lives before they serve and after they serve. Though society and the nation could do more as a whole, that doesn't mean what they do means nothing. According to VA.gov, 37,000 veterans experienced homelessness in January 2019, compared to 37,875 in January 2018. This year to date, more than 11,000 veterans have found permanent housing and critically needed support through the HUDVASH program. The lives of the veterans after their terms are in the process of being fixed, but regardless, this nation could do more, and I truly feel like no matter what they do, it would never be enough to fix the damage they had done to them. A figure that is hard to talk about, but also needs more in-depth thought into it, is the fact that most of them end up taking their lives. And when I mean most, I don't mean a majority. I mean there's a small percentage that end up resorting to that. And the statistics on that are as stands. According to VA.gov, the average number of veteran suicides per day was 17. In perspective, that number is higher than nearly anyone could really put into perspective. More can be done for our veterans, but the truth is the government doesn't really care in the end. And the only way things can really get better, in my opinion, is just having the government or having different people in government try to attempt to make things